Hello everyone, my 30 some odd YouTube subscribers. I'm so happy to have you all with me. I'm going to go ahead and speed through the beginning part of this because I already tried to film it twice and it did not go smoothly. So I am going to show you exactly how this works. I'm going to hit record on my transcription tool here first, and then from there I'll show you exactly what I did afterwards once this starts going. So anyways, let me just see as this screen begins here, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did the other day. So what I was able to put together was an entire week. So as you're seeing here, today is the 5th, February 5th. Tomorrow's going to be the 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way through to Saturday. So basically what I did was I was able to take, and I do this with my clients all the time, but we do it with a different format. Normally through ghostwriting, we have a meeting, yada, yada. But with this, I was able to write this for myself. So basically posting at 6 a.m., all the way across the board until we get to Saturday, and then we're posting again at 6 p.m. all the way across the board until we get to Friday, because Friday in the evening is never a good time to post, and you often will see the least results on LinkedIn when it comes to that. But this is my Publisher scheduler, and so I was able to put together this entire thing, which is really great. This is an entire week of content. I was able to create this in 1 hour because of this AI transcription tool that I'm showing you right now that is supposed to be recording. We'll hope for the best. My last 2 runs at it with Loom going and all this other stuff going at the same time, it didn't do very well. But basically what I do is I run by a 4 content pillar system, and basically what I have it broken up into is buckets. And those buckets are really well designed. And so I have this, I've been working on this for my team, but bucket 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have it sort of compiled into these 4 different aspects of your brand that you can target and touch upon. So you're not just creating random content, you're creating content for specific buckets and pulling ideas out of those buckets on a consistent basis. And so what I like to do is break it down by 2 buckets that have to do with your industry. One is more broad with a much wider reach that you can talk about specifically within your industry. So like that, if we're talking insurance, this would be the actual industry itself discussing things that are happening in the world of industry or insurance and how things are moving and changing and different opportunities for clientele, okay? And so then there would be the second bucket, which would be what specifically within your industry do you want to talk about? So this is the in the weeds. I, as a marketer, I love talking about this kind of stuff where you share the ins and outs of how to actually develop content. I talk about content creation overall as my bucket here, but then how to actually create that content in a consistent manner. That's where I can get down into the weeds and really expose who I am and what I do. And then what makes you unique, so a personal bucket, something that you can dive into. For me, this is skateboarding and slam poetry and a whole bunch of other stuff, growing up in Colorado and my mental health journey. And then what's your driving force? Human psychology, growing a family. Like for me, those are some of the big things, and marketing just happens to do a lot with that. So this is sort of your why. So I have all my buckets sort of broken down into that four pillar structure so that I can expand my reach over a certain area. And then I have a calendar as well. Monday, story time. Tuesday, tactical. Wednesday, process share. Thursday, mindset. Friday, community. Saturday, personal content. Sunday, experimental. Do something fun, a poll, something with your audience, something wacky, and so on and so forth. That's just like a quick dive across the top. But really what's cool is that you can take your insights, like what we have just been compiling here in this entire piece of what I've been discussing so far. As I'm talking, Otter AI is transcribing what I'm saying. So what you can do is you can link this thing up with your Zoom calls, and so whenever you're having conversations with people and you say something really awesome, well, guess what? Otter AI caught that for you in that moment, which is just incredibly helpful. So as you can see, I've compiled an entire post here, and what I'll do is I'll show you exactly how we can take that and utilize it as content. So what I did was I tried originally to play this video on my phone. What I do is I'll be out there and I'll be driving, I'll have a random insight, and I'll want to share it with the world. And so rather than losing that insight, I'll just turn my front-facing camera on and I'll start recording myself. And so after you've compiled about 5 to 10 of these things, that's a lot of content. A lot of times I end up breaking these up into 2 pieces of content most of the time. That's how I end up with 2 per day, because the insight is just a lot bigger than that. You might as well post in the evening too and engage an audience that's in a different time zone than you. So what we'll do is we'll click on this. Now that thing finally sped up. So if you want, you can just fully copy it. What you can do is you can listen to what was said.
your driving force, human psychology, growing a family. Like for me, those are some of the big things. And
so you can listen to it. But in this case, we're just going to copy and paste it because we want to turn it into written content. And then we're going to go over to Publer. We're going to plug that in. I already have LinkedIn synced up. If it were Twitter, it would give me an immediate red flag saying, no, you can't do that. And so then I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick tweak. Okay, so in the process of looking at it, I realized, wow, no, not going to use that. But it's a great example piece. So let's just pretend like I was in the middle of an awesome podcast and I was, slinging hot fire, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's just pretend we actually took this. But anyways, I want to show you how easy it is to transcribe. But ultimately, what we would work this out into is a post that looks more or less like this. So basically, we break apart each piece. And in the process of looking at this, I realized, wow, this is more than just one post. So what I did was I went ahead and moved it down and I turned it into this for the evening. So essentially, you're basically splitting up your content and giving yourself a little bit more room to breathe and your audience. Whereas you could put out a post that's like 1,700 characters and risk the possibility of disengaging your audience because they're like, dude, I don't have time for this. So instead, split the post up into two posts. Post at 8 a.m. Eastern time in the morning and then post at 8 p.m. Eastern time in the evening, and then you get a 12-hour difference. You're posting twice per day and you're posting at the best possible times per day, and so then you have both posts going out and you can do that multiple times a day. And so what I did was I took about 5 to 6 different videos, I played them into my transcription tool, and then I wrote them out just like this in these rough draft versions, and as I was typing them out and fixing them, I turned them into these individual posts. And so before you know it, after about 45-50 minutes, you got nearly most of this done, and you have a rough draft of what you need. I stopped, I left, my brain was hurting at that point, just like anybody would after writing that much. But once you copy and paste it, you're taking away a huge portion of the work by doing it that way. And so what I love most about that is how you can save yourself a ton of time by breaking up the note-taking process into a whole bunch of sporadic moments where you have an insight, because at the end of the day, we don't have time for it. And so take those insights, break them up into your content, write them out into a social media scheduler just like this one, and you can save yourself so much time and literally schedule 10 pieces of content in a matter of an hour on a Saturday and become your own social media manager without even having to try. So anyways, just something to think about there. I know that might have been a little bit scattered. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you ever want to schedule a meeting with me to discuss further, let me know. Definitely subscribe, drop any questions you might have, and please keep sticking with me and enjoying the insights. You got this. Keep learning, and we're all in this together. Let's keep learning this social media game and conquering the creator economy together.